My reality, when I was born in 1970 and went to school in Miami, Florida, was completely different. I went to a diverse public junior high school, elementary school.
Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson, as you heard, she's made history, and she began the journey to the court at Palmetto High School in South Miami-Dade.
This week's Senate hearings for the judge who could be the first black woman to sit on the nation's highest court, they were riveting for a lot of reasons. And this week, there were watch parties around the country for the Black Women's Leadership Collective. And this one you're looking at was in a space in Opelika, and it was attended by a who's who of Miami-Dade's most active and engaged black women leaders. And among them, the organizer, Yolanda Cash Jackson, who is a government law attorney, very active in a roster of civic and charitable organizations. And right here with us live today, Yolanda, great to see you.
Welcome, Yolanda. Great to have you on.
Great to be here.
So as an accomplished black woman attorney, watching an accomplished black woman judge, be battered and act with, I thought, grace under fire in Washington at these hearings, what went through your mind? What were you thinking?
Well, I wanted to say to her that you're not alone. And that was the whole point of us having these watch parties, so that she was not in the room alone. As a black woman lawyer, we understand some of what she was feeling. And she did act under grace. I would call it uber grace. I don't know that I could have done that. But we were very, very proud as a black woman lawyer. This is something that you think that you might want to attain. And we just know the struggle to get there.
So much of that process, we actually, in full disclosure, we talked about this on Monday when I was with you at that watch party. So much of this process is political. And you told me on Monday, you said, I hope they will treat her as they would do any other nominee. Did they?
Right. Well, I did a little research on my own, and, this process is a process. It is partisan. It can be partisan. It can be mean. We saw that with Kavanaugh. We saw that with Clarence Thomas. But at the end of the day, she is qualified. She is super qualified. Harvard grad twice. Just a stellar judicial record. And unfortunately, because of politics, they picked out very small pieces of her stellar career. But it is a process, and she made it through, and she will make it through.
Yeah, well, let's look into that. Obviously, at one point, she was a federal public defender and defended, some criminals, people accused of serious crimes, including some of the terrorists down there at Guantanamo Bay. And as we all know, the Constitution, you certainly know better than I, Constitution guarantees anybody accused of crime the right to counsel. So here we have these members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, all of them lawyers, experienced lawyers, sort of saying, well, yeah, but you represented some bad guys, so in a way, doesn't that make you bad? I'm simplifying it, but wasn't that sort of the message that we got?
Yes, and it was illogical. She's a public defender. Her job is to defend the public. And so that's exactly what she did. Once again, politics gets in the way so that people can put forth their own agenda. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, she is a qualified African-American woman who has done an amazing job, who has an amazing career, has shown amazing character, grace, and perseverance.
We had done some reporting, and she actually talked about being on the debate team at Palmetto High. We had spoken to her debate partner, and thinking about how debate really frames not only your ability to argue, but your ability to argue both sides, even something that you might not believe in, which is such a great skill to be a lawyer and a judge. And I wonder if you, as a South Florida person who is deeply entrenched in South Florida, kind of opine on what you think the local angle, the local experience really means in this process for her.
Well, she talked about the year that she went to Palmetto. That was just about the time that schools integrated here in Miami-Dade County. It's ironic, and you may not know it, but Pierre Rutledge and I grew up on the same street in Liberty City.
Oh, I wish you were all here at the table with us today. That would have been much more fun.
And our parents are all from Dade County Public School teachers. We're school kids, and we understand the requirement to be excellent. We understand the complexity of Miami-Dade County's system of ethnicities and blends of ethnicities. When I started practicing law, her father was a Dade County school board attorney as I just came into the practice. So we are used to adjusting. We're used to having to exude grace under pressure. And Miami-Dade County is a great teacher for that.
I think that's a really interesting, I just want to put an exclamation point on the end of it, because all I think of is backwards and in heels, but being a Black woman adds a whole other level to that, does it not?
You know, you learn how to persevere. Her story, when she talked about the anonymous woman who tapped on the shoulder, we have those stories. I had one at the first firm that I went to. Her name happened to be Glenda, and she worked in the kitchen. But it's those kind of stories of people telling you that they're proud of you. Pierre talked about his grandmother having an ID card. I still have my grandmother's ID card from 1964. Wow. We are used to it. We learn how to persevere. We learn that we have to make sure that our craft is perfected so that we can deal under pressure. Yeah. There is no substitution for grace. There's no substitution for the fact that she has a spiritual connection that allows her to endure even when she does not deserve it. Yeah. Yet she persisted.
Yeah, Yolanda, I also thought as I watched the hearing, she also, showed great magnanimity and a kind of an ability to withstand these, I thought, frankly, some racist or ugly attacks from people like Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, where I think what they were trying to do was to irritate her so much that she would snap back at them, and make a kind of a sharp remark, critical remark back to them, and then they could say, oh, well, she doesn't have the temperament to be a judge. Wasn't that sort of going on there?
I think that was going on, but did she not show that she had the temperament? I wouldn't have. I mean, the left earring would have been off by some of those questions. But I do we have to talk about Cory Booker. Cory Booker brought it home.
Brought the house down. And I just want to let you know that on Time Television, we can't talk about Cory Booker right now, but he did bring the house down.
Yeah, he did.
And so did you. And we so appreciate your time. Love you a lot.
Thanks, Yolanda.
Love you. Bye-bye.